You've been told a lie, a big one. That to win in the markets, you need to know exactly what's going to happen next. You need tomorrow's price today. Well, that's a lie that's costing you money, and it's definitely costing you your sanity. So let's dive into a better system, a system that actually embraces uncertainty to give you a real edge.
See this? You don't need the perfect single price point. That's a trap. What you really need is a realistic range, an error bar for when you're wrong, and a simple rule for when new information actually matters. So today, I'm giving you a 3-step framework that gets rid of those razor-thin predictions and gives you a rules-based process that stops emotional whiplash decisions.
So why are we so drawn to these pinpoint forecasts anyway? I mean, if they're so bad for us, why do our brains crave them? It's because we're wired to love the false sense of certainty that comes from a single number. It feels smart. It feels like we're in control. But in a world of probabilities, it's a really dangerous illusion.
And this right here, this captures the core problem perfectly. Chasing precision makes you overconfident. You start thinking you've got some kind of crystal ball. But you know what? The market has a really nasty habit of humbling crystal balls. It is so much better to admit what you don't know than to bet the farm on something you only think you know.
Okay, so the first psychological trap is something called outcome bias. Here's how it works. If a wild bet pays off, we call it genius. If it fails, we call it foolish. We completely ignore the quality of the process and just focus on the random result. This is exactly why we chase those pundits who got one lucky call right. We overweight that one vivid story over mountains of data showing it's just not repeatable.
And the second trap, recency bias. Every new headline, every hot data point feels like it changes everything. The latest news just screams the loudest in our minds, right? It makes us feel like we have to do something right now, even when the best action is usually no action at all.
And here's the real-world cost of acting on those biases. The data from thousands and thousands of accounts is crystal clear. The more you trade, driven by that need for precision and reacting to headlines, the worse you tend to do. You see that gap between the benchmark and the frequent trader? That's the price of overconfidence, and we are going to fix that. So, let's change the game. Rule number 1 is so simple. Use a range, not a point. We're getting rid of that single seductive number, and we're replacing it with a realistic band of possibilities. And here's how you do it, in 4 easy steps. First, define your question. Something like, where could the market realistically close this quarter? Second, set a base range. You can use simple anchors, like the market's volatility over the last year. Third, and this is key, you translate your view into a tilt, not a hard target. If you're optimistic, you just shift the center of your range up a little bit. And fourth, the most important step of all, write it down. And this is exactly why it works. Because getting the general direction and magnitude right, the range, that's achievable. Nailing the exact number, that's just pure luck. By focusing on the band of probability, we're playing a game we can actually win. That is our edge.
Now, a range is great, but it's not enough on its own. We need to connect it to an action. So let's move to Rule 2 and see how we build on this. We're going to turn that range into a set of decision bands. Think of these as your guardrails against fear and greed.
Now look how simple this makes everything. If the market stays within your core base range, the green band, you do nothing. Seriously, nothing. If it touches the outer edges of your forecast, the yellow band, you make a small rebalance, maybe 3%. And if it breaks outside your range entirely, the red band, you make a slightly larger rebalance and, importantly, you review your core assumptions. No panic, just process.
And here, this is the most important part of this rule, a hard cap. No matter how you feel, no matter what the headlines say, your view cannot change your allocation by more than 5% in a single quarter. This is the circuit breaker that protects you from yourself.
And let's be crystal clear about the goal here. We are not trying to time the market perfectly. That's a fool's errand. The whole point of this system is to lower your stress, lower your trading costs, and keep you sane when the world feels like it's going absolutely crazy.
So we've got our range, and we've got our action plan. The final piece of the puzzle is a system for updating our views without the emotional whiplash of daily headlines. Rule 3, update, don't react.
We call it the 15-minute Bayesian update. I know, it sounds super complex, but it's a shockingly simple process you run just once a quarter to calmly adjust your outlook based on what's actually changed, not just what's noisy.
This is your tool, a simple scorecard. You just track a few key indicators, things like earnings, credit, labor trends. At the end of the quarter, you score them, +1, 0, or -1 for each of your main scenarios. You tally up the score, and that informs a small, disciplined adjustment to your probabilities. That's it.
And just like our allocation cap, we have an update cap. No single scenario's probability can change by more than 15 percentage points in one quarter. This forces you to evolve your view gradually, not just abandon it at the first sign of trouble.
So let's put it all together. This isn't just a random set of rules, it's a complete system. A system that's designed to replace prediction with process. It's your new sanity system.
So just remember the 3 simple rules. 1. Use a range, not a pinpoint prediction. 2. Build decision bands with hard caps on how much you can actually act. And 3. Use a calm, quarterly update process instead of reacting to those daily mood swings.
And you can start this right now, today. Take a moment, write down your expected range for the market this quarter. Set up your traffic light decision bands, and don't forget that ±5% cap. Then open your calendar and schedule your 15-minute update for 3 months from now. Do it.
Because at the end of the day, this is the ultimate goal. It's not about being right on every single call. It's about having a robust process that allows you to stay sane, calm, and rational, especially when uncertainty is at its highest.
So, I have a question for you. A simple yes or no in the comments below. Do you currently use ranges in your financial plan? Let me know. I'm really curious to see how many of you are already using this powerful tool. If you want more rule-based playbooks just like this one, designed to reduce stress and cut down on those decision errors, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.